Coming up, we're going to be playing a fun little game that's going to let us know what the best Power Rangers suit design is. I'm Ryno.
I'm Ken.
And we are the Podcast Rangers.
Rangers.
Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. I am your host, Ryno, and as always, joined by my co-host,
Ken. I'm Ken.
Sorry, I think I do normally say your name. I'm just trying to throw everyone off here today. But in this episode, we're actually we're gonna have a very special guest. One of my best friends, capital B-E-S-T, the best, Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim.
And the reason why we have Kim on the show today is because like I said in the teaser here, is we're going to be doing a bracket challenge to find out what the best designed Power Rangers suit is. So for those of you not familiar with a bracket system, this is used in sports sometimes. I have never used it in sport. Well, I have used it in sports when I was younger, I guess. But I use this a lot for just figuring out. It's just a fun game to play. So you basically take every different suit season of Power Rangers, you put it into a list, it gets randomized, and then random seasons are going to face off against each other 1-1, and then whoever wins moves on to the next round, until inevitably we have a winner, an ultimate winner, the best designed suit, right? Definitive, yes, yeah. So the reason why we brought Kim in is we needed a third opinion in case we have a stalemate between Ken and I, which is going to be inevitable. But also, Kim, you are familiar with Power Rangers, yes?
Yes, mostly Mighty Morphin, but I dabble.
Our goal with this show, since we're early on, is to feel like this is a place for anybody, whether you've seen one episode or 100 episodes or one episode 100 times. Kim actually wrote that description for us. That this is a space for you to kind of just enjoy and listen. And so we talked about it in one of the earlier episodes that I always like to watch and just kind of know the general plot. Sometimes I don't see every episode. But Kim and I went to see the 2017 movie in the theaters together, of course.
Only crap noodle.
Yes, and we actually have matching Power Ranger tattoos. Power Ranger inspired tattoos, I should say.
Brand spanking new.
Oh, yes, yeah. Still painful if you touch me too hard there. I'm not telling you where it is, though. So anyone's guess. Just grab away. So basically, I set this. Everyone's got a folder with all the pictures of the suits in it. I think Ken and I can just kind of remember what they look like from memory, obviously. But since Kim is less familiar, I thought, and she's a fashionista, as I like to refer to her as, which is probably not appropriate. She is going to look at her suit designs, and she's going to be our either our final call or just she's going to. She'll be our tiebreaker, or she's going to agree with us, one or the other, I guess. Those are the two options in life, right?
All right, let's get to the only March Madness happening during this.
Yes, even though this episode will be released in April, I believe. But, okay, so if you don't understand, you're going to catch on really quick. So round one, we have we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We've got the Alien Rangers, Zeo Rangers, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, Jungle Fury, RPM, Samurai, Megaforce, Super Megaforce, because the suits change, Dino Charge, Ninja Steel, and Beast Morphers. Okay, we left out the soon-to-come season and the movie suits, too. Just we kind of kept it in continuity of show, even though the turbo suits are the same, too. But so I'm going to dive right in here. I made a randomized list. So first up, we've got MMPR, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, versus SPD.
Ooh.
I think we're going to face a little bit of a problem with Mighty Morphin here. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because for me, I'm not saying this, I think this is the be-all, end-all of design suits, but it's iconic, right? Because it's the original.
Yeah. It's the nostalgia factor.
No, the helmet designs, I think, are some of the better designed helmets.
Agree.
Than most seasons.
But if you really, so what I want us to focus on when we do this list, what you should keep in mind is how does the suit design satisfy the theme of the season? And for Kim, I'll go over this too, but she remembers Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, obviously. Their powers are drawn from dinosaurs, hence why all the helmets are the way they are. I actually have no idea. SPD stands for Space Patrol Delta. So
Yes.
the SPD is basically, you think about them as like this. The season revolves around people training to be Power Rangers, like cadets. Like essentially, Power Rangers are the police force of the universe or the galaxy, and it's so they're essentially. I don't want to say an army. I'd say police oriented, right?
I mean, it's like regular police academy. Like
Yeah.
you're broken down into teams, sections, and like there's an alpha, beta, like all that stuff. So they're actually also not even the best Power Ranger team, as it were. So they're the Delta Squad.
All right, so Ken, you know what? I'm going to have you vote first. Between Mighty Morphin and SPD, which do you like better? It can be personal too. Literally, this is a preference game, and this will drive some people insane. So it's going to be a tough game.
So to break this down, I like the costumes of SPD better than Mighty Morphin, I think, but I like the helmets. I love the SPD helmets, but I like the Mighty Morphin helmets better, just in terms of like aesthetics. I'm like trying to figure out why there's diamonds, like that, like Harlequin type pattern.
I've always wondered this, and
is it tied to the crystals that they use in the Megazord?
I don't know. I saw online that it was supposed to be like teeth, that the diamond, and that we're looking at it the wrong way. That it's not actually the white diamond, it's the red part of the suit that you're supposed to look at or something. I saw that once somewhere and I was like, this person's crazy because I don't see it.
Sense, but your eye will always go to the negative space.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Ken, you have to decide.
This is Sophie's choice.
You can only keep one, the other one disappears forever.
I'm gonna go Mighty Morphin.
Okay. Kim, I'm gonna want to hear your vote here first before mine.
Absolutely Mighty Morphin. I don't know what these little race car suits are about, but I don't.
Little race car.
I like that you call them race car suits. See, this is why we bring in an outsider, because I like the opinion of somebody who doesn't watch it, you know?
I'd know about it if that's what people would have asked.
Well, I think it says a lot having an outsider like Kim who doesn't know, and looking at it, she can be like, oh yeah, I clearly understand what this season's about, or I don't understand what this season's about. What are their powers? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that's a good little qualifier.
Yeah. I'm going to go with MMPR as well, because for me, it's like what Ken said. It's the helmet design for me really does it, because like when I see SPD, like I don't dislike the SPD costumes. The number of things are weird for me. I never understood that really, but I guess how it could be somebody's like favorite design. But when I look at Power Rangers, I'm like, okay, that's clearly a season that involves dinosaurs somehow or another. So MMPR is going to take this round. Man, people are going to be so mad if this ends up just being MMPR.
It won't be.
All right, next up we have the Alien Rangers and RPM.
Oh, right. Remember this.
Now, here's the weird part about these suits. So the Alien Rangers in Japan, they're based on another season of Power Rangers that we never really got, but we used some of that footage to fill a gap in a Power Ranger storyline. This is a season about ninjas. Also, there is no Pink Ranger in this season. The White Ranger was a female and the rest were men. This is actually kind of a tough one because I like kind of the sleek design of the Alien Ranger suit. It's very... I always liked how it had, for me, I always thought the lightning bolt on it was cool because it reminded me of like, oh, that's the kind of like trying to be like the Mighty Morphin lightning bolt. Now they've got their signature. I'm not saying I loved the Alien Rangers, but I will say when I first saw the RPM suits and like what it was about, I remember being like, ugh, another season about cars. And then that's not really what that season about. It just happens to be the suit designs kind of draw from that. But this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with RPM only because I think there's more design factors in place here. I'm just going to go with RPM because that's what my gut leads my eyes like lean toward that. So that's what it is for me. But what do you think, Kim?
Okay, so I'm trying to keep in mind, does the suit speak to the theme of the show?
Yes.
Because if I don't keep that in mind, these weird little roller coaster seatbelt things are killing
Oh,
me.
yeah.
They're killing
Well,
me.
I think it did have something to do with cars in Japan, and that was their suspender seatbelt. They were seatbelts.
Their cuffs are wheels.
There's something I like about this kind of mid-century modern looking ninja. Like if
It's true. It does draw. I like how the visor's kind of closed too.
yeah, it's like what it makes me think of like 1950s notions of outer space.
Yeah, it kind of actually. You know what? It does. I can see maybe where they pulled that idea from. Maybe. Okay, so you're leaning toward Alien then.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, you're the tiebreaker.
Again, it's the helmet designs with RPM. Also, if we're going with stuff that also leads or is associated with what the theme of the show is, I'm going to keep going with RPM because the seatbelts, but their cuffs on their boots and gloves are tires, like wheels.
True, but the show wasn't about cars, was it?
The first episode starts with cars, and all their Zords are cars, are they not? They're animal cars.
Okay, if the Zords are cars, but what's is that the theme of the show? I guess you're right. I can see what you're saying, though.
The show is called RPM.
You make a very valid point, Ken.
Also, Black Ranger's helmet is still one of the better helmet designs because he's a lone wolf.
I know you did say you love this.
That is a good helmet.
You're an RPM, so RPM wins that one.
Sorry, Kim.
I won't take it personal.
I'm not gonna lie. If Kim had gone first, I probably would have changed my vote. So.
I was like, you can't just vote.
That's what happens. I know. I'm screwed now. Okay, so next up we have Zeo versus Jungle Fury. So Zeo being the first time ever that the Power Rangers had changed their suits. So this was like a big what? Ken, I'm gonna let you go first this time. I think I already know my vote too, pretty easily on this one. But go ahead.
I do not like the suits on Jungle Fury, like the suit specifically, except for the purple one. But I think that's because it's more broken up, and the white one.
It's because he's got the belt. Yeah. Well, he's not a real belt, but he's got the line for the belt.
Yeah, and then the White Ranger one and that helmet is really nice. So I'm gonna go Zeo, which is strange because I am not a fan of the Zeo suits in general. There's only a few of them where I like the helmet designs, but there is something cool about that gold pattern that's on their chest plates. Like if you look at it super close up, the picture, Kim, that you're seeing is not detailed enough, but it's like kind of like a technology based, almost like a printed circuit board.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because zooming out, I was like, oh, it's like a random hearkening to medieval armor, but it's not that at all.
Nope.
I could see where you kind of get that too, but yeah. I was always kind of confused because I don't know. Sometimes the hard part is because I don't watch the Japanese show, I don't always know what the suits are influenced by. So I have no idea. Like, I think this is based on O Ranger or something. I'm not Orange. I don't know what it's called. Sorry. And I'm not going to look it up right now. But anyway, Kim, give me your opinion.
Okay. Here's my thing about the Jungle Fury ones. It doesn't, to me, there's so much, like they're so built out that you forget about the person in them. Like, and to me, it's, I need that. Like, oh, there's this scared teenager in this.
Yeah.
And this like looks like it could be a machine in these. Like they're too built out for me.
I think my thing with Jungle Fury is one, and I've always had this complaint, is there's just always looks like something's off because they don't have the belt. I don't like that they don't have the belt in their costume.
That is part.
And then
these look like little Stretch Armstrong people.
Exactly. They look like those
it's like
like the figure that didn't get enough paint or something. And then on top of that, there's short gloves, short boots, if you see too, because they have the cuffs at the bottom by the ankles and by the wrists. And so it's kind of like it's just makes this monochromatic mess for me that I don't like. I do enjoy some of the design. Like I like how their patterns on their sides are different. Okay, so I'm voting for Zeo. It sounds like Kim is also for Zeo. Ken's trying to change her vote somehow.
I already voted. I voted first.
Those don't count. I see what you're sending. You're sending the American Rangers, the bat, the elephant, and the what is that?
Shark.
Yeah. So, wait, what did I say? Zeo.
You said Zeo.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't love the Zeo suits particularly. I'm not like, I love these. I do like the Gold Ranger design though, because the Gold Ranger was like Jason and he came back, but I always love that shield. I love his gold shield. I love that he has knee pads on.
I like that the skirts come to a point in the front there. It makes sense. If you're high kicking, you need that.
I like that the pink, they have the gold hem on it too.
Yeah.
So next we're gonna have Turbo versus Mystic Force.
God.
I'm gonna go first here. I think I actually like the Turbo suits better, even though Turbo is definitely one of my least favorite seasons of the show. But it is very like I always kind of liked how their helmets lit up. Like they had the lights like the car, and the belt is like the lights like the car. But I've always enjoyed like the black piping along the suit, and I do enjoy like the Phantom Ranger. I don't like the Blue Centurion, but I have never really enjoyed the Mystic Force suits. I always said it's stupid that Power Rangers have capes. I've never liked it. I think I would like them better if they didn't have capes. So Mystic Force, if you can't tell by the name, Kim, was a magic themed season.
I actually saw that season.
Her favorite season, actually.
I am a Mystic Force only fan.
Exclusively. I don't dislike the Mystic Force suit designs. I just hate the capes. I'm just always like, Power Rangers aren't superheroes that take flight. Why do they have capes? So it's never been for me. So I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm voting for Turbo. So Kim, why don't you go next, and we'll let Ken go last this time.
Okay, 100%, because functionality is important in design. They don't need capes. Capes would be horrible for what they're.
Right, like couldn't a bad guy just grab him and slam him around?
Yeah, it's
like
terrible.
The Hulk slamming around Loki.
I feel like this. Their helmets are fun. They're kind of cool.
Yeah,
the butterfly's not particularly intimidating. Coming at me with a butterfly, funny. I can't take that seriously.
Ken, what about you?
All right, so functionality with the concept of the show, obviously the Turbo ones fit because the entire theme of that series is cars, so that's in their favor. I agree with the piping. The helmets look cool. I think we've talked about it before. I am a fan of those helmets. They aren't. I feel like they're more broken up too than the Mystic Force ones. Like the Mystic Force ones are broken up with like the gold and the black, but it's weird to have it vertical versus horizontal. I'm not sure also why female Rangers need to have the white pants when the other ones are very uniform.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Like it's like they already have a skirt, so like they could have just had the skirt over the regular legs, right?
Especially if nothing else is getting broken up by color, like the boots match the other suits, so theirs get broken up in a very strange way. So I'm going to go Turbo also.
It's also
all right, Turbo.
You want to cut off a lady's leg right there and then just have white. It's not a great.
I never think that white is a very good design. Like I always think white is like you're going to get bigger, dirty.
So it's not great on your lower half there.
Okay, next up we are going to have In Space versus Megaforce. I'm going to go first this time. I'm going to go with In Space. I have never really been a fan of Megaforce the season. I know that in Japan it's like they're angels or something like that. But I've never liked the design of the helmets. I always thought they were like too big or something. The visors are in like weird places. I don't like how high the chest part is. And again, the white is like all white on the bottom. There's something about the In Space. It's very simplistic. It's very uniformed. It's very clean. I know people have issues because they don't have cuffs on the gloves or the boots like all the other seasons do, but honestly, that never bothered me. I just kind of like I just like the design. I liked how their helmets would light up on the show. In Space is one of my favorite seasons, but it's like one of those seasons that for me it all comes together. Like I like the show, I like the actors, I liked all that stuff, and then I also really liked the suits. So it's always In Space for me. Kim, what do you think?
I just love, and maybe I like this for the same reason. There's something like old school Star Trek going on in the In Space ones, and I love that.
I like that you can tell that like right away too. Even though in Japan it was a video game themed season, but we turned it into a Star Trek essentially season. But
there's nothing I have against the other ones. But I also like the shape of the skirts on these a lot better than the baggy layered white situation in the other one.
It's like what you said. Like if you look at the Pink Ranger one, the photo I sent you, and the yellow one, it's like the skirts are very like they're too much fabric or something like that.
Yeah, there's not there. It's excessive. It's just like make sure they know she's a girl. Whereas these other ones very much like that feels like it could be part of that uniform, and you're fine. Still kick people with that.
What about you, Ken? Are you going to go against the grain here?
Absolutely. No. I don't like the bottom half of the Megaforce stuff. Or like I guess the bottom like from a third down is bad. I also don't like the Robo Knight suit at all. There is something cool about how uniform prior to this we had Zeo Turbo and then MMPR that obviously they were uniform because they were all consistent. Yeah. But with this, like, it's not just uniform by the same sort of like aesthetic. It also has that section in the center where it's the same on everybody's costume.
Yeah, but they're all represented.
Yeah. So it's definitely more so of like, we are definitely a team. Also, the functionality of the thing above the visor was cool in the show. So I'm going to go In Space.
So Space. Okay, next up, guys, we have Lost Galaxy versus Ken's already laughing because he doesn't like these suits. I know that. Versus Samurai. Kim, you're going to go first this time.
All right. Lost Galaxy. Very Charlie Brown.
Oh, that's what Ken calls them. Yeah.
The helmets are a little. There's something like a little comical about the faces in these helmets, and I don't mean intentionally. In Lost Galaxy, the samurai ones don't bother me, knowing that it's like samurai. That's the theme. One of them for sure looks like a pot leaf. I mean, it's missing a couple leaves, but that is what that is reading to me fully. Or there's a little British flag situation going on the guy.
It does, actually.
I don't love either of these, but between the two, I would say Samurai is not. It's not bothering me the way the Charlie Brown ones are.
It's not the worst of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, what do you think?
I hate the Charlie Brown suits, and even the helmet designs. Normally, I can look past a suit if the helmet designs look cool. I really don't like the helmet designs of Lost Galaxy. Also.
And it's hard because I like the Red Rangers. It's the rest. It's like the yellow one's visor's weird and the pink one's got the weird nose.
The yellow one is. I just want to. It looks like a bird that's laughing. Like a bird.
I can see that now. I can't unsee
it. I can't unsee it now.
Okay, so there's that, and then I really don't like samurai suits either. The suits are fine, like the kind of like not sash thing, but it looks like a gi, like how it's kind of folded over. But their helmets are some of the least practical in terms of a visor.
They're crazy.
I guess samurai is okay.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like I agree with you. I think Samurai is probably some of my least favorite helmets, but if I were to remove their helmets and I just look at their suit, I like the suit. Like I like the black legs, the boot design. I like how their boots are their color, but then the suits are white, but then like the gloves are white, and so like the white from the gloves ties into how the black lines running along them are white, so it kind of like brings the suit all together. But then the helmets are so terrible. I remember when Lost Galaxy came out, I also had that same issue where I was like, I'm having trouble looking at their helmets. I didn't mind that Charlie Brown look. I didn't actually even think of that until later.
Okay, so if the Charlie Brown doesn't bother you, now consider it's just like a sweater vest, like a belly shirt sweater vest.
I'm into belly shirts, bro. So no, but it is because it's hard because I'm like, okay, well, I like the Red Ranger suit, maybe the blue, and then that's it. Whereas these, I'm like, well, I like all the suits, I just don't like the helmets. But I think I would have probably still, let's say I haven't seen the show. I mean, neither of them screams what the show is about. Well, Samurai, I guess, does because it's called Samurai, and they're clearly Samurai. So I guess if I am looking at it like that, like I said, then I guess I would have to vote for Samurai. Otherwise, I would have voted for Lost Galaxy, probably just by a little bit. But okay, next one: Lightspeed Rescue versus Ninja Steel. So Lightspeed Rescue was a season about
Keepers.
they were like rescue people. If you didn't get that from the name, it was like an EMT, a firefighter, and then Ninja Steel was another ninja theme season. Ken, why don't you go first on this one for us?
I'm gonna go Ninja Steel. I don't like the vortex design on the Lightspeed Rescue. It looks like too close to the Zeo Ranger suits, like not considering the white space on there. Helmet designs are very bland, like it's just a black void. So there's no like personality or anything that you would associate with the Rangers themselves. Ninja Steel has that same sort of cross sash thing that I like. It looks like they're doing the reverse of the boot thing from Samurai, where it's like the boots are not on the other one were the same color versus the gloves, but they just flipped it. Helmets practical, still look goofy, but less weird than the Lightspeed Rescue. So Ninja Steel.
Kim, why don't you give us your opinion here?
Unforgivable what they've done to the women's legs in these suits.
Right? Like
Unforgivable. Why would you do that? It looks like they're wearing Spanx and they're exposed. Got my little Spanx biker shorts on and then just white all the way to the ankle.
Yeah, and the boots are just like regular boots, not past the ankle, but the guys have the boots up to the mid thigh. Excuse you.
Yeah, the guys ones are great. They nailed the guys. They left the women to die. Like these very much like colorful carnifolk beekeepers from like the 1930s. And I'm still more okay with that than this Ninja Steel situation.
Wait, so you like the beekeeper suits better than the Ninja Steel?
Yeah.
I'm crossed because I've never... I guess the Lightspeed Rescue ones are supposed to be like kind of like a siren or something, and then it's like the health thing, and it's traditional, but I have never enjoyed those suits, and they've never grown on me.
They look like beach balls.
Yeah.
They do look like beach balls.
From gym class.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everybody get under.
It's like... But then I really hate the suit design for the pink and the white Ranger and Ninja Steel because it's like what you said. I hate their leggings, but it's tough. But I do think their helmets have a better personality to them. This is a tough one for me, but I think I'm just slightly leaning toward the Ninja ones, even though they're terrible. I know. Don't worry, it's not going to win. If it wins, we all have.
The helmets are better than that.
Okay, so next up, we are going to do Time Force versus Super Mega Force. Now, the problem with this season is Super Mega Force never once used the word pirate in the entire season. Okay? What would you think that theme of that season would be, Kim?
I would definitely go with pirate.
Yeah. So they wasted these suits. These suits were also...
possibly Prince.
Yeah.
Very good subplot, actually. That's what they went for.
Get their powers.
Right on the nose. Wow, I guess this was well themed. The problem here is these suits are also a power up, so there are some people who will probably be like, "Why are these on here?" But it's really the only time that we've had a power up that the suit completely changed into another suit. So I kept it in here. I don't dislike the design of the suit, but in no way. Super Megaforce and Megaforce are, for me, probably some of the worst seasons in Power Rangers, if not the worst seasons in Power Rangers. And it just really dropped the ball being the 25th anniversary season 2, and just not really doing justice to any of the seasons that it represents. Regardless, I did like when I see these, I'm like, oh, those are clearly a pirate season where it does nothing.
Yeah, their ship
Now, on
is
the other
a
hand,
pirate ship.
and as a pirate ship, yeah. On the other hand, we've got Time Force suits. Okay, when I remember when I was a kid, and this is because Time Force came out in 2001, so this was like the beginning of the internet, and this was the first time I saw a suit for Power Rangers before it debuted in the show. And I remember seeing these and being like, "Oh my god, what have they done? These are hideous." It turns out this season would end up being probably my favorite season. So it is one of those where I do struggle with that because I have grown to love the design of the Power Rangers Time Force suits. Like I'm trying to get a helmet made for me so I can do cosplay of the Red Ranger and stuff. But it's still like when I look at it objectively, I hate the colored visors still. Like I don't think that I ever got over that. So for me, aesthetically looking and not judging it by the show, I think I pick Super Mega Force. But if you guys do not pick that, that is okay too. I'm not judging anybody who goes against it. I love Time Force so much, and it hurts my heart to say that. But if I had looked at the two of these and I was like, I know that I could be like, oh, this show is clearly about pirates, which it wasn't. But then if I looked at Time Force, I'd be like, I have no idea what this is about. Cards? Like,
If I were just an outsider dropping in and looking at this visual, it's hard not to just say Super Mega Force is superior to
Time Force.
Exactly. All I see is cards. Like, although I don't hate those helmets. They're not great, but
it's okay. If you like them, you like them. I'll tell you too. So what the photo's not doing justice to is they actually light. So the strips that come down the center, it lights up on the sides of that strip. Like, so their helmets are like kind of like a circuit board almost, because they are, I guess those would be their time suits. Maybe, I don't know. So
I, as a human in my daily life, would absolutely wear these weird pirate prince suit jackets.
I want it as just a jacket, nothing else.
Those are fantastic jackets. I'm gonna go with Time Force because it just.
Oh, okay. She's drawn to Time Force. Ken, you're the tiebreaker.
I didn't have a problem with Super Mega Force in terms of suit design until you brought up the fact that they never reference pirates.
Not a single time do they say the word pirate in that entire series.
Are you positive? Like, are we going to get a correction? Be like, actually, they reference pirates.
No, I think I read that recently.
Just in terms of aesthetics, I hate the giant belt buckle. Like, yes, functionality wise, like it makes sense because those keys that they sold, like the toys, were huge. The overall use of black on those looks so cool, and the like visors going down like the strips under where the normal eyes would be looks really neat. I'm gonna go Super Mega Force. The only like Time Force one I like the overall design outright is the Quantum Ranger, but that's because like it's like jagged red. It's not the regular card logo.
Super Mega Force has it just by a vote. God, I hate myself for saying this because I hate Super Mega Force so much.
It's hard too because like, having heard you say how much you hate it and why, and knowing they dropped the ball makes me be like,
Well, that's the hard part too, being like, I just love this other show so much, and now I've grown to love those suits so much too that I'm like,
well,
it's
and
fine. It's fine.
should do that for you too. Just costume design in general should do that for you.
This next one should be interesting. It's Wild Force versus Operation Overdrive. Ken, you're going to go first.
I hate both of these. I hate the giant guns on the Operation Overdrive suits that like are almost down to the knees. The helmets are some of the worst. Like, it's weird to have very similar like car themed sort of stuff, but that like mouthpiece being just a grill is very odd. Wild Force is like, there's some really ugly helmet designs. Like the Blue Ranger's helmet is terrible. I like the wolf one, I guess. Why does that one have horns? I don't. Wild Force, I guess, because some of the helmets are okay.
Okay. Kim?
Oh, the shark in Wild Force makes me laugh and laugh.
It's got tiny teeth. Can you see?
It's like the shark from Katy Perry. On the other hand, Operation Overdrive. I mean, that is like 2 vertical stripes down the outsides of that's a flattering pattern to put on a human body. So it has that going for it.
See, you said 2 stripes. Oh, I guess I look at it as 1. I think about it as like the one white stripe down the middle. But then I see what you're saying though, because under their arms are white too.
I mean, it's and not that this should be the goal of the Power Ranger suit, but it's slimming, it's flattering.
It's got to be aesthetically pleasing, I think.
Yeah. The grill thing weirds me out because I automatically think of when a character shows up and something's just a little off, and that's how you know they're bad.
All of these are from a Mirror Evil universe.
Yes, that's what these look like to me. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Wild Force.
What do you, question, what do you think the theme of Operation Overdrive is? From looking.
It looks like they fix cars.
Yep, spot on. Actually, it's a really slow season. It takes place in a mechanics workshop. Really boring.
Oh, well, at least the suits do look just that little logo. Like, it makes me think of Safe Life Repair, Safe Life Repair. All the singing I'll be doing on this, I promise.
I'm going to say Operation Overdrive, actually, for me. I've never been a big fan of, I don't like Wild Force the show, and a part of it was I don't like really any of the actors except for the Yellow Ranger, and I didn't really like any of the suits either. I see what they're doing with the suits, though, where like the sash has the different kind of numbered lines through it, so it adds that individual thing. I didn't ever really care for the patch on them. I like Kim said immediately, I don't like the Blue Ranger helmet. I don't like any of the helmets, really. The red one's okay. I kind of like the Black Ox one and the silver one, but that's it. Operation Overdrive, I'm not overly familiar other than like the beginning and the anniversary episode about what happened in that show. Like, I know kind of the plot, but I don't mind the stripe down the middle of the suit. I like that. The suits look more powerful to me than the Wild Force suits. Like, when I look at them visually, I'm like, okay, that team could beat up that team, which might not be true, and not everyone might think this. And I don't actually like the Silver Ranger and Overdrive's design of his suit, but I'm going with Operation Overdrive, even though my vote doesn't matter because Wild Force won. Next up, we have Ninja Storm versus Dino Charge. This is going to be a tough one. I like both these suit designs. What I like about the Ninja Storm suit design is so Kim, you might not know this, but the helmets open all the way, like the visor and the mouth. So it's basically like the plastic around their face, and then it'll close back up. So that I always enjoyed that aspect of it. It's funny that these two ended up against each other because they both also have this sleeve design thing going on where their sleeves are different colors. You can't really tell that in the photo I included for you, Kim, though, unfortunately, on the Dino Charge one. But the Dino Charge ones have a pattern on their sleeves. So it's all like
almost
they're
like
wearing
scales.
Yeah. But I like kind of the one shoulder armor in Dino Charge. I'm kind of partial to it's like when I saw the Dino Charge suits, I was right away like, ooh, I like these, and I don't dislike the Ninja Storm ones, but I'm also partial to dinosaurs. So it's kind of what happens for me. So for me, my vote's going to Dino Charge. Ken, what about you?
I'm not crazy about the like thing going across on Dino Charge, like across the chest. I love the knuckles. Like on the gloves, they also have like these silver like claw things, so it almost like would be an added like fighting benefit, which I think ties into like the shoulder pad stuff. Um, Helmet designs are cool. My favorite two Rangers, like in Ninja Storm, are the kind of like maroon and blue one, like the navy one. But those are the only two suits that I really, really like in that season. So I guess I'm gonna go Dino Charge.
Kim?
Okay, so there's some of what you both said that I very much agree with. I really like this maroon suit, and actually,
maroon
I
suit,
like
yeah.
maroon, green, and blue. The three on the left
Mm-hmm.
in Ninja Storm. But hands down, Dino Charge. Look at that badass. I mean, I don't love these little, I guess it's probably yellow teeth going across the sash. But I love that armor sticking up on the shoulder. That's it's not even that I don't dislike it because I like these suits so much that it's not enough to buy. Okay, yeah, I definitely Dino Charge. These are excellent. They're just like I would want to fight in that. Think about how powerful you'd feel with that.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's good, right?
Yeah, and the boots are better. They don't look as much like galoshes.
Ninja Steel, or not Ninja Steel, Ninja Storm also has the hand things, like the bracers, like the fighting bracers that they have on Dino Charge. I didn't notice that either.
Okay, so our last group up against each other is Dino Thunder versus Beast Morphers. The Dino Thunder saw the return of Tommy as the Black Ranger in that season.
I saw that whole season. I think
I do, and Dino Thunder is actually one of my favorite seasons. I am thoroughly enjoying Beast Morphers as well, but Beast Morphers is the current season on television. Interesting to note here is the first season where their suits are leather, not spandex. They're not ever spandex technically, but you know, this is a tough one for me. I actually enjoy both of the suit designs. I like the uniformity of the symbol on the chest in Dino Thunder, along with like the helmet design. I do also really like the Beast Morphers designs. Like I like that they're different and they're leather and they're the jacket, but for me, it looks like a suit you put on. Whereas like Power Rangers, I've always thought like it's a suit that it should become you. So for me, I think Dino Thunder edges it out just a little bit. That's just for me personally, though. What do you think, Kim?
a lot of thought about this Beast Morphers situation. So definitely Dino Thunder. Not only does this Beast Morphers it does not look like the suit is a part of them. It looks like a suit you put on, but it looks like a suit that like a 4-year-old put on, and it's made for a 42-year-old. Like, why would you want baggy leather? And I'm assuming it's pleather, which is, regardless, still very hot.
That I always think, why are you really gonna like be doing backflips and stuff and stretching in that leather suit?
Yeah, and they're baggy, and it's all bad. I mean, if you were a different type of superhero, if you were doing different things, I'm not saying the costume itself the suit is inherently bad, but it is bad for a Power Ranger suit.
What do you think, Ken?
I'm gonna go with Dino Thunder. There's so many dinosaur seasons. The one Power Ranger suit from Beast Morphers that I like is not even included in this because he's an evil ranger.
Oh yeah, you do like Blaze.
His is the only one that seems practical, but his suit also seems more like armor, less like a leather jacket. I'm not a crazy fan of the Dino Thunder ones though. Specifically, like some of the helmet designs are kind of weak, I think. I don't like Tommy's helmet in that show.
The blue one is my favorite for sure.
The blue one's good, and the white one is neat. Like I know you're not like wild about the colored visor, but I think the red works with the black and white on the White Ranger suit. especially given like character based stuff. So I'm gonna go Dino Thunder also.
Okay, Dino Thunder wins this one. And I think Dino Thunder is going to get a pass in the next round because we have an uneven amount now. So we're going to go through now, and we don't have to debate too much. I know this is where it's going to get difficult to reopen all your windows again, Kim. But
oh, don't worry, I have
so okay,
45 tabs.
Yeah. Okay, so round 2, here we go. Ready? It's going to be MMPR and RPM. And Ken, you have to decide first.
It's MMPR. If I had to compare the Red Ranger from MMPR to RPM, I like the Tyrannosaurus like helmet design better than the bird thing. Like, there's just something weird and jarring about a yellow beak on the red helmet in comparison. So MMPR.
What do you think, Kim?
MMPR, absolutely. Can't do the seatbelt.
No, she hates the seatbelts. Okay, all right. I gotta have to weigh in with my vote here. I think there's something about their symbols that kind of throws me a little bit. Like, I get that they're numbers and stuff, but
yeah, they look foolish. Like, they look cartoony in a bad.
Like some sort of children's show.
Yes. Shut up. It slowly washed over me.
Okay, well, next we have Zeo versus Turbo.
Oh. I would go Zeo. I remember Turbo vaguely, and it never. I feel like that more. I don't know. I do like this piping. It's still, to me, even though the helmets are much better in Turbo.
You're partial to the Zeo. You like the skirt design better.
Yeah, a lot. Yep.
Okay, so she's going with Zeo. Ken, what do you think? It's tough because I feel like Turbo does have this. It's the piping. It's like what you said. I really like the piping in the suit. I think it does something cool to it. I'm just not a fan of cars.
Yeah, I don't care about the car stuff. The helmet design still looks cooler, especially with the piping. Like, there is that kind of like there's a metal piping that they use on the helmets too that ties into it. But I like the technology stuff on Zeo. I just really dislike the helmets on Zeo.
It's like because they're very basic. They're just the color, and then like the symbol, and like it's just molded over. It's got no distinction.
There's the Yellow Ranger one is like obstructed vision, right?
But her weapon is nunchucks.
No, I'm still gonna go with Turbo, I think.
Oh my God, you're gonna make it hard for me because I'm on the fence. It's like
the Gold Ranger is really good.
The Gold Ranger is what makes me, I think, it's hard because if you look at the pictures like I have up, it's looking from a distance, I'd be like, oh, well, Turbo, I think, because of the piping and the suit and stuff. But then, like, if you really look at Zeo, I agree with you. I don't love the helmet design. I don't love the Turbo helmets necessarily, but I think they're better designed. But then, like, it's it's like the detail in they're like shields on Zeo, and like the boot, the cuffs and stuff. And then honestly, I think it's the Gold Ranger that's going to put me over, even though I said we were going to do a separate episode about 6th Rangers and like extra people and stuff like that. Do it. I think I'm gonna go with Zeo.
I'm fine with it.
Won something, but I did not win.
Nobody wins on this podcast.
There's no winning, Kim.
Guys, when Turbo wins, no one wins. We have In Space versus Samurai. I'm going to tell you right now, I prefer In Space, so that's my vote. No questions. For all the reasons I already said. Simplicity. I like the uniformity. And the helmets I like.
Yeah, in space. One of my favorite uniforms.
In space.
So next we are going to have Ninja Steel versus Super Mega Force.
Oh, Ninja Steel. Garbage.
Oh, there you go. Kim, Ninja Steel. Oh, wait. You hate Ninja Steel. Okay.
I hate it.
Kim's picking the pirate jacket.
I'm going to pick pirate jackets too, because at this point now, just judging aesthetically, there's more visually interesting stuff going on with the Super Mega Force.
Next up, Wild Force versus Dino Charge. I feel like this isn't even a question for me. I'm just going to say Dino Charge, hands down.
Yeah, Dino Charge, absolutely. I love those.
Yes, Dino Charge, easy.
Okay, so we are moving on to our round 3, which is going to bring Dino Thunder back into this. First up, actually, you know what? I'm going to start from the bottom and go up this time. So how about we're bringing Dino Thunder back into it. Dino Thunder versus Dino Charge.
I'm going to go Dino Charge still.
That was the correct answer. Dino Charge beats Dino Thunder.
I think I also agree with that as well. I really am a fan of that little shoulder piece. I like a good shoulder piece. And I do like the things in their gloves.
I love a little, thought out asymmetry.
Next up, In Space versus Super Mega Force. Me, I'm going to weigh in personally. Again, I'm not saying I dislike the pirate one. I do like the pirate one, but versus In Space, again.
That collar.
I think it comes to it being like, actually for me in space, sometimes I don't like it when they're too ostentatious. Like, I know that's such a weird thing, but I'm with you.
I like it.
It's like a little over the top
and not necessarily functional. Like, what do you need a flipped collar?
Fold the collar, please. You're trying to save people.
Cool people. Save people.
These are like one of my favorites. So,
Ken, what do you say?
It's space.
Well, you didn't have to pick it because we picked it. I'm just asking what your opinion is, even though it's
no. I mean, I've always liked the In Space ones, even for just like the thing above the visor, and like when they project things from it or in it.
Okay, so next, then we've got a tough one coming at us here. It's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Power Rangers Zeo.
I'm gonna, as we get like closer and closer, I'm gonna let you two go first so that I'm just the tiebreaker.
I am gonna go with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers here. I think again it comes down to the helmet design, but also like I am a fan of like not overly simplistic. Like I don't like a lazy suit, but it is iconic. And I'm not saying that I think Mighty Morphin should win, but I don't dislike the Zeo suits. I'm partial to dinosaurs, I think. And like the Zeo suits are just these weird like star 2 thing, 3 thing, 1 thing, 4 thing, 6 thing. The Gold Ranger though is really the one suit design where I'm like, could win out for me. But I think I'm going to do MMPR. That's my vote.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you tie it to suit designs, like the not geometric, but like the patterns on the Zeo stuff is great. Mm-hmm. Something like if you're comparing helmets to helmets, like the angles and like the designs, like how they're incorporating all the dinosaur stuff into each of those, like Black Ranger, Pink Ranger, and Blue Ranger specifically, it's all really good. So MMPR.
All right, Kim, what would you have said?
Yeah, I mean, MMPR all the way. That is not close for me at all.
All right, we are down to 3 suit designs here now, okay? So it's Dino Charge, we have MMPR, In Space, and Dino Charge are what's left. The last time the bottom one got a bye, so I'm going to give Mighty Morphin the bye this time. So it's going to be Space versus Dino Charge. Ken, you tell me what you think. This is a tough one.
I'm gonna go Dino Charge.
Suit. Oh,
it's. You just sound like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh no! Hello.
I don't know. There's something about like the spiked knuckles. Like they're like they seem like they're ready for business, and I don't know. There's like the sharp edges. Speaking as an illustrator, like that would be more fun to draw, I think, than in space.
Oh,
There's something interesting about their helmets too. It's
like it's either like teeth or like whatever the mouth is for that given dinosaur.
Again, I've said it since the beginning. I think I like a simplistic suit design just a little bit more. Like, these are two of my favorite suit. Well, the last three are honestly three of my favorite suit designs in the entire series, I think, and that's what's making this really tough. Do I have the black Dino Charge helmet looking at me right there in front of me? Yes. Do I have the red in space helmet on this shelf looking at me? Yes. Do I have the blue Mighty Morphin helmet looking at me right here? I have literally those three helmets right in front of me. I just realized that. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I don't have a Dino Charge suit yet, but that's what I want to wear. And like, I'm gonna go with in space. Dun dun dun. Kim, you're gonna have to break this vote. It's tough.
I feel like I should have stretched first. Okay. There are several design elements that I like in the Dino Charge, especially in the helmet, but in space feels like a more cohesive suit to me. So I'm going to go in space.
Okay. In space over Dino Charge. I'm sure people are riding at this point right now.
It's a travesty.
Well, here's the thing. There's only three, so we're going to take a step back in 1 second before we finish, too. So it's going to be in space versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Which of those two suit designs do you think are better? And now I feel like I boxed myself into a corner because they're both fairly simplistic, too. And again, it's like two things I love. Dinosaurs and space. This might be unpopular, but I think I like the Power Rangers in space design better. But I know the MMPR helmets have more going on, and I like them too. And I feel like I'm going to have a nightmare tonight because of everything I've said on this episode, but it's fine.
You're going to be judged harshly on your decisions. I mean, well, we've said earlier
on, like, will appear to you in a dream.
I would never have chosen you to be on the team.
They're both Zordon error teams. Don't say that.
I like looking at the in space helmets. Like, I wish there was more going. Like, it's hard to just look at the normal standard helmet unless they have something in that top visor area. Like, that's when you see kind of like cool, like green projections, things like that.
But they barely use that on the show too. That's the thing.
That's the other thing. So like, it's overall. Then you get into like how simple is the in space suit? Like the gloves and the boots. You mentioned it earlier. Like people don't like that, and I'm like, yeah, the Red Ranger kind of has like goofy cartoon character gloves. Like when you look at this picture, and so does the Pink Ranger. But I also, I'm gonna go MMPR.
Oh, Kim, you have to be the deal breaker here.
And please don't feel that you have to go one way or the other, even though you are Ryno's capital BEST friend.
Well, like here's the thing for her right now. I already said these are three of my favorite suit designs, so she really can't pick a wrong one for me. So you don't have to say what I said. You can say whichever one, because really,
all right, I
love them all.
I'm going to tell you all the things I like about each.
It's a sandwich, really. It's you say nice things, bad things. And then,
yeah. On the one hand, that iconic, sorry to focus on the Pink Ranger, guys, but my name is Kimberly. That suit is what, like, plays to my pathos when I think of Power Rangers. I'm like, that these suits have the emotional draw. So I'm trying to remove that from this equation and just look at design.
Well, okay, so I'm going to say something since you're comparing the two pinks. I like that Kimberly has the white lining on her dress.
Yeah, I mean, that point, it's technically a handkerchief hem, even when it's that short.
I never noticed that before. That sometimes they have the points and sometimes they're the rounded.
Mhm.
I thought you were going to say, I never noticed the Yellow Ranger doesn't have a skirt.
I also like that you can see the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers morpher versus like the in space morpher is not visible. They started doing that later, I guess, again. But
Yeah, I think at first I thought I was just going MMPR because like that is my childhood. But I think I like them both a lot. These are probably my two favorite suits of any of them. And I really want to put the top of In Space on the bottom of MMPR. That's not an option. Just for the suit part, not the helmets. Like just the tunic, if you will. I think In Space speaks more to the theme of that season. I'm gonna go MMPR.
Yes.
oh, people are going to be like, you said at the beginning this probably wouldn't be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it is. Okay, but here's what we'll do. Here's what we're gonna do really quick though, before we finish up here in just a second. I think that since Dino Charge and In Space were so close, let's say that Space didn't win and it was Dino Charge versus MMPR. I'm curious to see where we think we would have landed for that.
If it was
scenario.
Dino Charge and MMPR?
Yeah.
Can we put the Dino Charge suits with the Mighty Morphin helmets?
I would probably just been like, oh, we had recording failure. I can't pick one.
Everything blew up.
I think between those two, there's too many things happening. I do like the Dino Charge, but there's so many things happening on it that there's
True.
nothing that I can focus in on to be like, yeah, that's. I mean, like we've got then there's the dino on the teeth, and then there's the dino in the belt, and then the helmets, and it's too much.
I do agree with that. That there's a lot. It's kind of like when I look at the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger suit, my eyes immediately, like you said, it is drawn to the diamond, but the diamond is what brings my eyes immediately to the helmet. Because it's like putting your eye, it makes your eye, it creates a sense of movement, but in a uniform direction.
I'm going to say what Tim Gunn consistently says on Project Runway when he used to be on Project Runway when it was still a great show. Someone needed to edit these Dino Charge suits, and they did not.
I personally, I don't love the giant belt. That's all. And I know that the belt serves a purpose within the show because that's where they carry the chargers and stuff inside of them. But it's like an extra thing that I'm like, if you do one sit up, that's gonna hit you in the tummy. Well, there you have it, guys. I think MMPR was going to win either way at this point. So, do you feel good about yourselves?
In life?
Yeah.
Ken, you seem disappointed.
Well, I guess I didn't expect MMPR to make it all the way to the end, but just the way certain things like unraveled, I guess is the term I want to use.
Yeah.
Like if there had been different suits up against other ones, like I think there would have been much more difficult choices between MMPR and some other ones.
Why?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of it's like the randomness of the bracket. You're like, oh, but if MMPR was up against this season, it wouldn't be in there anymore.
If SPD was up against any other season that early on, like I would have chosen SPD probably. Like that's one of those things where I'm like, in clutch, I don't know, I would have chosen something else, but I'm okay. I mean, I'll sleep at night.
Well, it's funny, yeah, when you look at SPD compared to some of these bonkers, I mean, this makes sense.
The fact that RPM made it so much further than SPD is alarming.
It's hard for you.
Yeah. Or Super.
But that's why I chose the bracket, because it's not like, okay, well, we're going to vote and say what our favorites are or something like that. You just kind of go through and it's just kind of how the chips fall sort of a scenario. So there you have it. We, according to this randomized bracket, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers seems to have taken the lead as the best suit design for Power Rangers. And agree or disagree, let us know. You can get in touch with us now. All of our social media is active. We are Podcast Rangers on Instagram, Podcast Rangers on Twitter. You can check out the websites, podcastrangers.buzzsprout. gmail.com. Yeah. So you can also send us an email at podcastrangers@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us about future show topics, or, just let us know what your favorite suit design is, or play this game with another friend who likes Power Rangers and let us know what you guys came up with. I'd be curious to hear. So thank you, Kim, for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for putting up with me and educating me.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad I could steal you away for several hours, what I thought would be a lot quicker than it was. So, never trust me when I'm like, oh, could you do a quick show with us? It'll be like 30 minutes. Yeah, no. So now we know, though. And as always, Ken, thank you for joining me as well. You have no choice, but
nope.
So, yep. So that'll do it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode of Podcast Rangers.